Hello, folks. This story was sent to me by a subscriber and is intended for educational purposes only. Thank you for watching. 4 grams magic mushroom. The subway to Wonderland. I swallowed the dried mushrooms with a gulp. Not quite sure what to expect, but eager enough to dive into the unknown. About 40 minutes later, the world began to hum and ripple like a heat wave on a city street. I was on the subway, headphones blasting my favorite tunes. But suddenly, the train car transformed. The walls stretched and twisted, colors bending into neon waves that pulsed in sync with the beat. Passengers morphed into strange creatures. A man's head bloomed into a giant sunflower. A woman's eyes became swirling galaxies. And a child's laughter echoed like tinkling bells. The overhead lights flickered into shapes. Flamingos waltzing, clocks melting like Dali's paintings, and talking rabbits dressed in Victorian suits. The train slowed to a stop at a station that wasn't on any map. The signs were written in a script of glowing runes and upside-down letters. Curiosity overwhelmed me, and I stepped off, finding myself in a subterranean wonderland. The platform was alive with flora and fauna. Glowing mushrooms the size of basketballs, vines that hummed softly, and trees that whispered secrets in a language I could almost understand. As I wandered, I encountered a peculiar ticket booth where the clerk was a chameleon wearing a bow tie. He handed me a golden ticket and told me it was my pass to the great carnival of the mind, where reality unravels and the absurd reigns supreme. With a nervous laugh, I pocketed the ticket and moved on. Ahead, a parade of eccentric characters floated by. There was a tap-dancing octopus juggling glowing orbs. A man with a birdcage for a head singing opera, with a choir of invisible voices, and a troupe of dancing teapots pouring streams of stardust into the air. The ground beneath my feet felt soft, like walking on clouds spun from cotton candy. I followed the sound of laughter to a carousel spinning wildly. But instead of horses, mounts were giant cats with kaleidoscopic fur and eyes that shifted like liquid mirrors. I climbed aboard one and held tight as it whisked me through tunnels of swirling colors and looping time. We passed scenes of my childhood, but everything was strangely distorted, faces melting into mosaics, memories rearranged like patchwork quilts. Suddenly, the carousel slowed, and I found myself at the edge of a vast lake that reflected the cosmos. Stars drifted lazily on the water surface, and strange fish with wings soared through the air, their scales shimmering like prism. A figure emerged from the depths, a giant talking owl with spectacles perched on its beak. It looked at me knowingly and said, "Welcome, traveler. Here, your thoughts are the architects of reality." I reached out to touch the water, and ripples turned into cascading waterfalls of music and light. Each droplet sang a note, forming melodies that told stories of forgotten dreams and lost futures. I felt a deep connection, like the universe had folded itself into this moment, just for me. Time folded again, and I was back on the subway train, the colors settling into normal hues, the passengers returning to their human forms. My headphones played the closing track, and I realized I was smiling, tears streaming down my face from the overwhelming beauty and absurdity of the journey. As the train pulled into my stop, I stepped out. The city unchanged, but my perception forever shifted. The magic of that subway to Wonderland stayed with me. An eternal ticket to a place where the weird and wonderful dance hand in hand, waiting to be discovered whenever I dared to look beyond the veil.